Okay, well, welcome back. And now what we're going to do is just a quick overview of what you've learned and to be able to show you that you can actually create a pretty bracelet like this with all the different stitches and techniques. So first of all, we started out with our disc that we sewed it down. We did your basic bead embroidery. From there, we went and did the peyote stitch with 2 rows up. And here we finished it off with bezeling it with a size 15 to totally bezel it in and encase it in. Here we did your bead embroidery, peyote stitch. We taught you how to do the couching of the cup chain along with another row of size 11 couching. And here we did your caterpillar. Remember, we did a bigger type of cup chain here. Added your 4mm fire polish and then did the little size 15 beads over the top, giving it that really great texture and just more interest in that, and then more cup chain, and then again some more seed beads. So if you look at this bracelet that I created here, we just did, here's some cup chain in here, here's the caterpillar stitch, here's your peyote stitch bezeling it up with a size 15, here's some more cup chain, and then we just filled in, I filled in all the spaces here with just your basic couching of your bead embroidery. And then from there, we added some flowers. So we just went in and added flowers for more texture. Remember, we came up, added a seed bead, and went back down. Then we glued down our leather and then did our picot edging for a nice finish. And I want to share a few other finishing techniques with you. And this one here is for doing a bracelet with a slide clasp. So you've created all your bracelet. These I do anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches wide, and then you wrap it around your wrist to figure out the length of it, allowing enough for your clasp. If you're making it for someone else, it's really important that you find out their actual wrist size. Wrists are kind of funny, they're all different sizes. So get their wrist size if you're making it for a gift. So we've done all of our beadwork here, and this is going to be my little sample down here. I've cut a very tiny little piece here. And just visualize that all that beadwork is on top of there. So then we're going to flip it over, and I tied a knot here. And I went through one of the loops on my slide clasp. So what we're going to do is we're going to whip stitch this on here. So I'm just going to go through my beading foundation and through the loop. And again, getting started is kind of awkward, just like anything when it comes to beading. Getting your first couple stitches can be just a little bit of challenge. But once you get it going, it's all good. This is on the back. Visualize this is your bracelet. We flipped it over, and then we're whip stitching our side clasp on. Okay, then jump to the second ring here. Give it a couple whip stitches. I would say 3 to 4. Like I mentioned before, I'm a real stickler when it comes to finishing techniques. Okay, that looks pretty darn straight. Now I'm just going to go in and do our good old surgeon knot. Go through, create your little loop, go through 1 time, go through 2 times, pull tight, and then take another little bite. We'll cut this off. Do another knot. So what I would suggest doing, just from my experience, I've sewn these on backwards before, and that's not any fun, then you have to take it out. So I go ahead and fold this over, put this underneath the little bars, so I make sure that I'm going the right direction. I have done it to where I take it off and then I sew it on backwards. So it's kind of awkward, but this is just the way I do it. If you feel like you can do it without doing it this way, go for it. This just works for me. I know this is kind of difficult to see, but let me get started. And I just do 2 stitches just to hold it in place. Okay, now I can slide it apart. Now I know I'm all good. Plus it lined it up. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to sew all the way across. Doing our little whip stitches. Jump to the next one. Two more. This is a 4-loop bar, slide bar. I really like these for bracelets. They give it a really nice finish, and they're not just a huge chunky clasp, so if the bracelet happens to roll around on your arm, it doesn't just show the clasp. If you have too heavy of a clasp on your bracelet, it's going to roll around to the front anyways. So I really like these slide bars. And another surgeon's knot. Okay. Then cut off your thread. Okay, so here's our clasp on there. I kind of did, yeah, no, I did that right. And then this is all my beadwork on the front. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to do a little bit of my glue like I did on my pendant pieces. Lay my leather down, cut out my leather, and then do the picot edging. So here's the leather on the back, and then here's the picot edging. So, oh, and it just happens to fit me. So there's a great way to make yourself a beautiful, unique, free-form bracelet using all the different little stitches I've taught you in this series of videos. Enjoy! So what we have the pendant that we just added our flowers and our little spiny urchins coming out here for more texture. And you might want to just make this into a pendant. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of wire, and I like to use the AccuFlex, and just make it as long as you want to wear it, and add probably 2 inches on each side so you can use the little wire guards and the crimps in your clasp, and you can adjust it. It's better to have too much wire than not enough. So what you'll do is you'll just lay down your wire here on the back of your piece and have it evenly come out on each side. And I just tie on a thread and just give it a nice little whip stitch. So you get to see the prettiness of my back piece here with all the knots and the stitches. So just take a little bite of your beading foundation and just go underneath it. You don't want to go all the way through to the front. You can tell that I did this earlier. I'm just going to give you a couple of little whip stitches here. Go all the way across here and then just tie it off. So then when you flip it over here, you've got your wire coming out, and this is where you will string your beads. First of all, we need to back it. So you'll do the backing like we learned on the previous video for this little pin here. Remember how we did the little pin, the picot edging, and the little fringes there. So you'll put your backing on it, and then you'll do your edging, your picot edging, and then you'll string your beads onto your AccuFlex wire with your clasp. So I just want to give you that little helpful hint, and that's just one way to add this into making a necklace. Okay. Okay, well, welcome back. There's a couple other things I want to share with you to make a brooch, a pin, as a component that you can add to a bracelet, also to a necklace piece. So we'll start here. I beaded just a small little pendant here using all the black lip different sizes, size 11 in 2 different colors, and just little Monet crystals just kind of splashed here and there. So this is what they call a bail, and it's a glue-on bail. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this little bail, and we're going to find which way this would actually look best. So just kind of play and see which way you like the way it hangs. And I think where I had it before, I like the best. Now this is all freeform. I didn't do anything as far as drawing or anything. I just started beading in the center and just started adding. So I really like where this is here. I think it's balanced really well. So what you would do from here is flip this over, put a little bit of glue on here. And I'm not going to put glue on it just for the fact that I want to show you a couple other things that you can do as well. Put a little glue on it and stick it on there. Hold it on there and flip it over and make sure that you still like where it is and it's nice and straight for you. And then set that aside and let it dry for a bit. So we're just going to pretend like I just did that. So from that point, we already covered this, but I just want to cover it one more time with you. You can also make this a pin back by taking your piece of leather, cutting your little slits, pushing your pin back through, and then laying it on. I know this leather is way too small, but this is what I have sitting on my table. And also the same thing. Cutting this. And refer back to the other videos. This will show you in more detail. So you can make this into a pin with a bail. But what I was just showing you was this. And then another idea I have, you could actually use this component as well for a bracelet. Remember when we put the slide clasp on? You could actually stitch this on too. Whip stitch it on, or you go up and down like we did on a previous video, and then bead the rest of this. And this would actually be a really pretty bracelet. So those are just a few other things that you can do as far as finishing. I like these bails a lot for the fact that you can string whatever you want onto them. And there's so much you can do with this. Your imagination is your own, and just remember to listen to the beats. They'll tell you what to do. Thank you so much. Bye.